men in this book are trash. I loved this damn book. Or they'll both die. Hello! Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new, and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. This week I am once again super excited about the books that I am going to be reading. I say that, I've only really got one that is strongly on my TBR. But I'm excited nonetheless. I did actually start reading a book last night on my Kindle, which is The Neighbours by Anya Alborn. This is a horror thriller type book, and I'm pretty sure someone I know recommended it to me, but I cannot for the life of me remember who. I'm really enjoying it so far. Like I said, I did start it last night. I think it's only like 250 pages ish, and last night I got to page 76, so I'm about a third of the way through. So far I am really loving this book. It is definitely creepy. We are following Drew, whose mum is an alcoholic who also suffers from agoraphobia, fear of going outside, I think. She's been like this ever since his dad left them when he was younger. I think when he was about like 9 or something. So since that age, basically he has been doing everything. She cannot go outside, so he's been sent to the grocery store and to get everything they need to pay their bills. And obviously because of her current situation with alcohol, she is quite abusive towards him, and he just feels like he has been suffering for long enough. So he finally decides enough is enough, and he moves out of this home and moves into the spare room of his childhood friend in this seemingly perfect neighbourhood with white picket fences, perfect lawns, all that jazz. And then the friend's house is this massive eyesore on the community that is like dingy, all like broken down, not being cared for at all. He moves in, the place is absolutely disgusting, and his childhood friend is a little bit odd now, not really giving him like much emotion, not really like communicating with him properly, just something seems up. So Drew moves in, he tries to like clean up the place and everything, and then he meets the couple next door who are Harlow and Red, and they are, let me tell you, the absolute epitome of white American dream perfection vibes. We also start getting Harlow's perspective, talking about Drew and saying things about how she's going to have to take her time with him, and the previous boys have not been exactly what she wanted. We know that Drew's friend Mick is somehow involved in whatever it is that is going on with this woman, and it's like he is bringing men into the house for her. I don't know what it is she wants to do with them. I don't know what this has in store for Drew, but so far it is creepy, it is intense, and I'm absolutely loving it. So I'm definitely going to be continuing with that one, hopefully finishing that either today or tomorrow, fingers crossed. And then my main book for this week that I'm most excited about is The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce, which I am actually buddy reading with Leah, one of my good friends here on BookTube. We are buddy reading this over the course of the week, so we'll be reading about 60 pages a day. I believe we have decided to break it up into days because it's always more fun that way, and like it's good to be able to discuss what we've read each day. And for some reason it just makes me want to read more when I know I've only got like 60 pages per day. I don't know, it just works for me. So obviously we probably should have started yesterday, which was Monday, but we're going to start today, Tuesday, and then we'll probably finish it on Monday, and then I'll probably just finish off the vlog then. But I am unbelievably excited for this one. I have heard really good things. I've been wanting to read it for so long. It sounds like such a good, creepy, intense isolation thriller. Yeah, all the creepy vibes this week. I'm really feeling it. So I do need to put my little tabs in this to break it up into the 7 days, which I will do very soon. Okay, all I want to do now is read, but I do have some things that I need to do first of all. So I'm going to go ahead and get some things ticked off my to-do list and catch up with you later. Thursday. I'm here with my morning smoothie. Whew, she thick. And I'm here to update you on my reading over the last couple of days. I have actually done quite a bit of reading, not gonna lie, quite proud of myself. So, I did end up finishing off The Neighbours by Anya Alborn, and I gave that one 3 out of 5 stars in the end. I did enjoy it. I think the last time I said that it was really creepy and quite intense and I wasn't really sure where the story was going. I really loved that whole idea of like these perfect neighbours next door that are like a little bit sinister and have these like dark secrets that are really like horrific. Love that whole vibe. I did just feel like I was hoping for more. I don't know, I feel like when I finished reading the book I just felt like I needed more. I was just like, is that it? Is that all? It was a really good storyline, it was a really good concept, but I feel like there was stuff missing, if you know what I mean. Like I feel like that concept could have been done so much better. It was really creepy, it did get quite violent and horror-ish at times, but I just wanted more. That's all I know to say about this book because I can't really criticise the storyline in any other way. I did really enjoy it. I just felt like there could have been more done with it, maybe more twists or a little bit more horror. I don't know, it just wasn't quite right for me, so I did end up giving it 3 out of 5 stars. I have heard really good things about Anya Alborn's other books though. I think this is one of her earlier books, so I do want to try some of her other novels, just in case this is maybe one of her least riveting books. Yeah, The Neighbours just wasn't quite it for me. I have also been reading The Sanatorium, so I've read our buddy read pages for Tuesday and Wednesday, which means I'm 120 pages into this, and guys, I am loving this book. I really hope it continues because at the moment I am completely hooked. I don't know if I already gave you a synopsis for this, but basically we're following Ellen, who is a detective that is currently on leave because she had a really difficult case. She's not sure if she's going to go back or not, and she also has a lot of grief from her childhood because her younger brother Sam died in quite mysterious circumstances, and she blames her other brother Isaac for his death. Although she doesn't completely know what happened, she thinks he had something to do with it. Isaac is a very sketchy character, let me just tell you. But she then goes to the sanatorium, well, what was once a sanatorium that has been made into a hotel in the Swiss Alps, I believe. It's completely cut off. It gives me very much Shining vibes, like going along this long snowy road to this hotel that's literally just like covered in snow and ice, and it's like a really creepy hotel because it used to be a sanatorium for patients with tuberculosis, and they have a lot of like artifacts from that time still in the hotel. They've kind of gone for that type of vibe, but it makes it incredibly creepy, and obviously there'll be all sorts of like horrific history in this place. So she goes to this hotel to her brother Isaac's engagement party. Immediately he seems like an asshole. We do not like him. He seems to want to like manipulate people, and then his fiance goes missing. We also keep getting chapters throughout from other characters who have also gone missing, who have been, this isn't a spoiler because it literally happens in like the first chapter, you get one in the first chapter, but they go outside from this hotel and they will find a bracelet, like a copper bracelet in the snow that has a date on it. And then some big bad guy with a gas mask, guy or girl, we don't know yet because apparently they wear quite loose clothing, so it could be a woman, comes up with a gas mask and takes them, and that's the last thing we hear of them. So we've seen that happen to one person, we've also seen it happen to another woman who we are also following in and out throughout this book, and that is what's keeping me so hooked. It's because it's so fast paced going between these two different bits, from Ellen to these people who are going missing and not really knowing what is going on. Ellen is dealing with a lot of her grief, and also her boyfriend is trash. Like honestly, me and Leah have been talking about this each night, and this book I could definitely say could be read in one sitting because I am hooked. I want to keep reading, but I'm also really glad that we're doing it as a buddy read because it's so perfect for that. Each day at the end of the night we will talk about our thoughts for the 60 pages that we have read, and so far we're both hooked, we're both obsessed, we're like trying out different theories with each other, trying to see what it is that's going on, but also all we do is hate on the men. Like the men in this book are trash. We want them to die. There are two men, Will, her partner, and Isaac, her brother, and I hope both of them go missing next and hopefully get murdered because trash. So yeah, I'm hoping for a lot of character development in this. Like currently her brother and her boyfriend are both very manipulative, very gaslighty. Do not let her sort of like come to terms with her grief. Like her boyfriend literally says at one point, "Oh, I thought you were over it." Her brother's death, I thought you were over it. Like, So yeah, I'm hoping there's going to be some character growth. She's going to realise how awful these men are, build some strength within herself and hopefully be able to walk away from them both, or they'll both die. But yeah, really enjoying this. It has such spooky, creepy vibes. Like the whole setting of this sanatorium in the middle of the Swiss Alps is just, it's so isolated and chilling, and obviously because we've got like these gas masks and like ventilators and things in the hotel that were used all those years ago, it just makes it so creepy. And I am living for it. So yeah, absolutely obsessed with this. I need to read my 60 pages for today, which I will do soon. But I'm also going to start another book, which I am so excited about, and that is Gallant by V. Schwab. This one is the proof because my friend actually let me borrow it. We are both going to her signing or launch next week in Edinburgh, and I will get my own copy then because it's part of the ticket, but I wanted to read it beforehand, so she let me borrow the proof to read it so that I have some idea before we go. And yeah, super excited to read this. A little bit cautious because I have seen people rate it 5 stars, but I've also seen people rate it 2 stars, so we shall see. All I know is I adore V. Schwab's writing. I just think it's so beautiful, and usually it has so much within it as well. Because this one is YA, I think that's what's making me cautious, because I feel like I have been reading a lot of adult recently. So we shall see, but it sounds really exciting, really magical. I haven't read anything like fantasy vibes in a while. So yeah, super excited for this one. I am currently on sprints on my own channel, and I have Pris joining me. So I think I'm going to go throughout the day. It's currently like 25 to 12. So I'll probably go till around tea time and try and get as much of this read as I possibly can. And then I think I'll leave the sanatorium until nighttime because there's just something about reading this when it's dark and windy outside and all the creepy shit is going down. That's what I'm feeling. So yeah, that's the plan. I will keep you updated. It is quite a bit later now. We are just on the final sprint for my channel. It's just approaching 4 o'clock, but I have been doing a lot of reading of Gallant. I am on page 192, so I've read this much. I have this much left, so I think I've got about 120 pages to go, and I just love this book so much. Like, I feel like every time I don't read a bit of V.E. Schwab for a while, I forget how much I absolutely adore her writing. She just writes so beautifully. Like, it's very flowery, I would say, and like there's a lot of imagery, so if that's not your thing, you probably aren't going to enjoy V.E. Schwab's writing, but I love that style of writing. I just get so swept into that style, so swept up into the atmosphere. This one's so gothic and atmospheric. We follow 16-year-old Olivia, who at the beginning is living in this like girls' school / orphanage type thing. She was left there when she was really young, like just on the doorstep, and she is basically immediately bullied in that because she is mute, she is unable to speak, and she lives a very dreary, miserable experience at this place. very lonely. All that she really has to keep her company is her mum's journal that she still has, that has lots of writing from when her mother was living at a place called Gallant. And this journal seems to be letters to some you, which Olivia originally thought was her, but then she realises it's not to her, it's possibly to her father, because later on in the journal she mentions Olivia and him meeting her. There's all sorts of entries into this journal, and it does tend to, it changes from beginning to end as her mother seems to descend into some sort of madness. So the writing becomes more like choppy, there are things crossed out everywhere, things don't really make sense. But one thing towards the end that does make sense is a warning to Olivia telling her to stay away from Gallant. And then the school that she is living in, the head matron, I think, calls her to her office and tells her that she's received a letter from her uncle saying, like, I've been trying to find you, I've sent these letters to basically every orphanage and girls' school across the country looking for you. If this does reach you, then you have a home at Gallant. So obviously this school ships her off to Gallant. She goes along and she starts to live there. And there are 3 people living there. There is her cousin and 2 sort of like housekeeper type people who, by the way, they're called Hannah and Edgar. And all I can envision in my head is the 2 characters in The Haunting of Bly Manor, whose names escape me. She might even be called Hannah. The 2 people that work there that are like so clearly like in love right from the beginning, from the first episode when you see them together. That is basically exactly what I'm picturing here, because it's the same with those 2. Hannah and Edgar are clearly like have this like connection, but it's not completely on show. And I just picture those 2 characters from Bly Manor whenever they are on the page. So her cousin straight away is like, she cannot stay here, get her out, blah blah. It's all very dark and dreary and dangerous. And then there's like this wall at the end of the garden that she cannot go anywhere near. She's not allowed out after dark. There's ghouls everywhere, which by the way I love how they're done in this. Like I love how she's done ghosts or ghouls. They're basically like the person but only parts of the person. So the ghoul will sometimes have like just an eye and a few bones, or a limb and some hair. Like it's a very sort of abstract way of doing ghouls or ghosts, and I really like it. I think it's very different to anything I've read before. But yeah, basically I'm absolutely loving this book. It's so atmospheric and gothic, it's so beautifully written. I mean, there are about a million quotes I could give you for how beautiful this writing is, but even just the first line of the first chapter, there's a little bit before this, but the proper first chapter, the first line is, rain drums its fingers on the garden shed. Not just rain hits the garden shed, rain drums its fingers on the garden shed. Like, just love the way V.E. Schwab's mind works. Honestly, amazing. So yeah, I've got about 120 pages left. I'm probably going to finish it tonight, I would assume, although I do still have my pages of the Sanatorium to read, and I will want to do some relaxing with Brandon, so we shall see. But I'll definitely be finishing it tomorrow at the latest. And yeah, I'll probably check in with you next once I have my final thoughts. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. I am just an absolute reading machine this week. So the last time I spoke to you was, I believe, Thursday when I was doing my sprints, and that night I did end up finishing Gallant by V.E. Schwab. So I read this in one day, pretty much in one sitting, apart from food and toilet breaks. And you guys, I love this book so much. I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars. I just think it was the most beautiful, gothic, haunting tale. For the majority of it, I'm not gonna lie, I did think it was gonna be a 4-star read. I was loving it the whole way through. As I've already said, V.E. Schwab's writing is just absolutely beautiful. I love it so, so much. But something just felt like it was missing for me. I was thinking maybe it's because it's YA and I've been reading a lot of adult stuff recently. But then the ending, oh my god. Honestly, I get emotional just thinking about the ending. It was just perfect. And I know quite a few people have actually bumped their rating down because of the ending. They didn't like the ending, which makes absolutely no sense to me because I loved it so, so much. Like, I turned the last page and I actually went, oh, like, really, I loved this damn book. It was such a beautifully written gothic tale, as I've already said. The whole setting was amazing. The way, I think I mentioned already, her take on ghosts or ghouls, I just thought was such a unique concept and was perfect for this story. Also, the fact that Olivia was mute, I think that added a lot to the story. It brought up some really interesting questions. It was heartbreaking that people only needed to turn around to silence her. She would no longer be able to sign, she would no longer be able to use facial expressions or body language. All they have to do is turn around and she is silenced, which obviously is incredibly frustrating for her, and I think it's a really poignant point. Also, there was a line in this that, I mean, there was about 100 lines in this that I wanted to say to you because, once again, V.E. Schwab writes beautiful writing, but this one in particular for the whole idea of Olivia and her voice. There's a bit on page 237 of this edition where she says, so she's trying to explain something to Matthew, her cousin, and she's drawing So she's trying to explain something to Matthew and she's drawing pictures in her sketch pad, and he is just not seeing what she wants him to see. He is not getting it. And V.E. Schwab writes, Olivia lets out an exasperated breath, wishing people would stop and think sometimes, fill in the words so she doesn't have to. I thought that was such a beautifully written sentence, just bringing home that it's not her lack of voice or her inability to speak that is the problem here. She is communicating well with what she's doing. The other person, who is supposedly more able in terms of communication, is the problem. I don't know, I just thought that was a really interesting way to flip things and make you think. And there was a lot of that in here, and just a beautiful tale of family, finding the place you belong, the lengths you'll go to for your family, and yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Highly recommend. I then obviously have been reading more of The Sanatorium by Sarah Pris. I have yet to read today's pages, but I've read Thursdays and Fridays, so I'm now on page 242, and I am still absolutely engrossed in this. We still hate Will, we want him to die, but the storyline is really, really building. To be honest, the whole way through, I've just felt like the pace of this has been so fast. It's kept me so engaged. I've not wanted to stop reading it. And it's almost been hard to do the buddy read because at the end of each day, me and Leah are like, oh my god, I can't wait to find out what happens next. But then it's also fun dragging it out and having discussions, as I've already said. We have come up with a few theories about what could be going on. In the last lot of pages we just read, yesterday's pages, there was a huge twist that I did not see coming. Totally left field, and I have no idea what it means yet, but I am so excited to find out. So yeah, we've got today's, tomorrow's and Monday's pages, and that'll be us finished with this one. Like I said, I really don't know where this one is going. There are quite a few different like threads of the tale that are obviously all going to be connected in some way, but I have no idea how yet. I'm trying to piece it together myself, but I can't get it to fit. I don't know if I mentioned before, but now it is a proper isolation thriller. Like, the hotel is locked off from anyone. There's been like this massive avalanche, so no one can get in or out, and there has been a body found in the pool outside the hotel. And because no one can get in or out, the police are not able to investigate. So basically Ellen is roped into doing the investigation with as much as she can. Obviously she has no jurisdiction in Switzerland. She can't really collect evidence. It'll all be admissible in court, but she can sort of do some sorts of interviews, get some facts and relay them to the detectives over the phone and try to piece something together, try and preserve some of the evidence until people are able to get there. So yeah, she's like back into detective mode, and it's totally brought her alive. Obviously at the beginning of the story she is off because of this really difficult case she had and her recovery from that, and now we are seeing her come alive as a detective. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think Will likes that. Don't think he likes a strong, smart, independent woman, which doesn't surprise me at all because he very much has little dick energy. But yeah, it's just giving me all the wintry, chilling vibes. It's still super creepy and I'm on the edge of my seat. I cannot wait to keep reading this one. Obviously, because that one is a buddy read and I had finished Gallant, once I had my 60 pages done for yesterday, I needed something else to read. So I have started my 4th book of the week. I know, who am I? I decided to start a Kindle Unlimited book, so I started The Holiday by T.M. Logan. This one has just been made into a series on ITV, I want to say, so I kind of wanted to read it first before I watched the series. It looks really good. I've heard good things about T.M. Logan, so yeah, I decided to start The Holiday. I am currently 26% of the way through, a quarter of the way through, page 122. and I'm really intrigued so far. I did read that really fast. I think I read all that in one sitting yesterday. I didn't really want to put it down. We're basically following a woman called Kate, and her three like girlfriends, they're all like in their 30s or 40s, but three of her female friends that she has been like in a little group with since university, they all go on holiday together to this massive villa in France with their partners or husbands and their children. Like this massive group of them all go on holiday together, and on the day that they arrive there, Kate realises that her husband Sean? I think he's called Sean, but I could be really wrong about that and I can't be bothered trying to find out. So we're gonna go with Sean. He has been quite distant recently and quite closed off, and he's been sort of hiding his phone, being on his phone a lot more, and she thinks, oh, it's just like work stress. And then he goes to the pool and she's just like starting to unpack things, and she hears his phone buzzing and buzzing and buzzing, so she's like, you know what, I'm just gonna have a wee look. It's not as if we have anything to hide, we are husband and wife. She knows she shouldn't do it, but she does it anyway, and she finds texts basically proving that her husband is having an affair with someone, and proving that that someone is one of her three friends, because it says something along the lines with,
we'll deal with it in France.
so one of her three friends is having an affair with her husband, so she instantly goes into like paranoid mode. She is also like a police officer, forensic, I think she's like a forensic investigator or something back home, so she goes into like job mode. So she's not going to confront him straight away because he'll just deny it. She's going to gather evidence first so that when she confronts him she can prove that she is right. So she starts obviously getting hella paranoid, looking at every single interaction between him and her other three friends, reading into everything they say, and of course all three of them are suspicious, because why wouldn't they be? If you start reading into all these things you're gonna find like red flags. And it says on the blurb something along the lines of, someone is willing to kill to keep their secret. So I haven't got to that stage yet. So far there's just paranoia, but it is kind of like creepy, like edgy. I think it would be the perfect holiday read. Like obviously it's called The Holiday, but it's also got the perfect setting. Like the way that T.M. Logan is writing is just totally conjuring up this warm villa setting. And there was a scene where they went for dinner down into like the square, and the way they described it with like kids running around the tables, like a stray cat under one of the tables, it was all, and like the smells and everything, it totally brought that whole feel of being on holiday into my mind. It does kind of remind me of One Perfect Morning, which I read in a reading vlog recently, just in the sense that we've got these three different women with their different families, all seeming perfect and happy on the outside, but all having like tensions underneath, and that's all becoming very clear as they're like thrust into this very like forced proximity almost situation. All the cracks are starting to show, tensions are rising. So yeah, it kind of reminds me of One Perfect Morning in that sense. I have a theory of who it is that he is having an affair with and why she would be willing to kill. I don't know if it's just really obvious and in your face at the minute, and I feel like I'm being smart, but really they're trying to make you think that way, and actually that's not what's going on. I'm hoping that's the case, because if I've guessed it from page 58, I wrote it down on my notes. Page 58 is where I guessed this theory. So if I've guessed it from then, this is not going to be a well-rated thriller, but I'm hoping it's going to twist and turn and I'm going to realise that I have just been like totally led down the garden path. So yeah, those are my reads for the moment. For today I do need to read my buddy read pages, my 60 pages for the Sanatorium, and then if I have time, which I don't think I will, I'll read more of The Holiday by T.M. Logan, but I actually have some really exciting plans tonight. So one of my best friends actually had tickets to go see Six at the theatre in Edinburgh, which I have never seen, but I've been dying to for so long. And I'm so excited. I think it's going to be such a good night. We're going to get some dinner, we're going to go see the show, and yeah, it's going to be really good to get out and kind of feel normal for the night. Like I was actually supposed to be going on a night out tonight for one of Brandon's friends' birthday, but I just know I wouldn't be able to hack it. Like I can't stand up for long periods of time, or I just get dizzy and nearly pass out, or can't breathe. So going for dinner and then going and sitting down in a theatre, that feels manageable. Maybe I'm kidding myself, but it feels like it's more manageable than going on a night out. And alcohol is also just an absolute no-no, so if I was like sitting in these bars with these people that are really drunk, it just wouldn't work. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be really good. It's going to be such a fun night. Good to spend time with Becky and hopefully feel like a normal-assed 26-year-old for the night. Not for long, because I am 27 on Tuesday. 27 on Tuesday. Whoa. Which actually reminds me, guys, this is getting out of hand. Let me show you. This is my current little pile of Amazon parcels that have come through the door so far, I'm assuming as birthday presents, and at least 2 of these feel like they've got multiple books in them as well. Like, guys, you're so good to me, thank you so much. But yeah, right now I think I am gonna go and find a comfy place to sit. I would love to sit outside because it actually looks really, really glorious, but it looks nicer than it is. I think it's actually quite cold out there because there's probably like a breeze up here because there always is. So I'm going to find a comfy spot and I'm going to read today's buddy pages and probably show you some b-roll of that. Hopefully get some b-roll when I'm out tonight, and then I assume I'll update you again tomorrow. Also, this is totally irrelevant, but can we just appreciate how beautiful my new trousers are? I am obsessed. So it is now 2 days later. It is Monday afternoon and I am just coming on to finish this vlog. I had an absolutely incredible time on Saturday night. Honestly, exactly what I needed. The absolute best night, like my ideal night. And obviously I am now obsessed with Six the Musical because it is unbelievable. Absolutely incredible. All the women in it were fantastic. I just want to go see it again. And again, and again, and again. And before anyone goes rage at me for including the last clip, it is part of their marketing. They ask you to get your phone out, take videos and post them. So no criticism, please. And in terms of my reading, I haven't actually read any more of The Holiday, but I did finish The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce this morning. And once again, we have a confusing one. I'm not entirely sure what to rate this yet. I'm waiting for Leah to finish it so I can discuss it with her, because in terms of the overall storyline, I thought it was fantastic. I thought all the twists were amazing. The story of like why they were doing what they were doing, it was all so well thought out. All the little threads came together perfectly. It had quite a good sort of feminist message in it about giving women a voice, women who are abused mentally and physically by men or exploited by men. It made some amazing points about that and had like that sort of overall message. However, the partner, they never challenge him. He never gets challenged for his awful manipulative, gaslighty behaviour. And even the main character Ellen at some point has this sort of like epiphany, this moment of clarity where she's like,
oh my god, I've been treating him so badly, like I've got all my own issues and I've been taking them out on him and I'm going to be so much better from now on.
I don't get it. Like, I don't know what the author was trying to do there. I honestly don't even know if she realised that she was writing a gaslighting, manipulative character, because surely if she had done that on purpose, she would have challenged it, like she's challenged the other men in this. It just doesn't make sense to me that you're making a point about like giving women a voice and women being treated properly, and then having a character like that who ends up being like a victim in the end. I just... confusion. I don't get it. So as of right now, I am unsure what I'm going to rate this because I don't know how much that should bring my rating down. Like I said, I need to discuss it with Leah and see what she thinks, and then I'll come up with a rating, but I'm sure you will find out in my wrap up at the end of the month. But yeah, that is it for this week's reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you got some good recommendations. I realise this one has been quite a chatty one, so I hope that's okay. I hope you don't come here for more of the b-roll because yeah, I think I did a lot of talking in this one, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. So if you made it to the end of this video, pop the crown emoji down below for the absolute queens in 6. And the queens everywhere, the queendom of women in the world. Pop that emoji down below just to let me know that you made it to the end of this video and that you enjoyed your time here. But as always, if you did enjoy this video, then do please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe for more bookish content from me. Comment down below with any of your thoughts and feelings. I do reply to every single comment. I love you all and I will see you in my next one.